RIP to our Instagram messages and comments, Shasky. Whenever you talk about the quarterback, people come out and pitchforks. How dare you blame Jimmy? Nobody's blaming Jimmy.
Well, no,
but
there's
you know
three
what?
things that were
It
wrong
is
with
what it
yesterday's
is.
game simultaneously.
He's mediocre.
The defense was horrible, like all-time horrible.
Ferocious.
The coaching, I don't care how you want to associate the blame.
Look at you.
But, like, you cannot play undisciplined football pre-snap over and over and over again with veterans. Like, that falls on someone. And then simultaneously, all three, the quarterback's just not good enough. That turnover in the red zone was horrible.
Come on. It was a good throw. That's catchable.
Three flies up from the 5? From the 5?
With Jeff Wilson Jr., Texas route.
He was covered, guys. Good morning. Heard you guys this morning. Jimmy G only cost you 5 points this game, so the field goal you didn't get, and then the weekly safety. Jimmy G.
Weekly safety.
Men without hats. Jimmy Garoppolo, the safety dance, finding new ways to get a safety each and every. Dance. So coming up next week, he's going to take a snap and fumble it out of the back of the end zone. He's going to find a way to get a safety differently each and every week.
Or what about the double pumping?
Sack?
No. What about the pumping? Let me step up into popping and run into 2 defensive linemen to get just. It's just, oh, my God.
Well, I mean, and before I steal too much from my partner, Mark Willard, and good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Trent Williams on the bum ankle. He was a turnstile on that play on the safety.
Yeah.
Well, this was my other thing. Like, Charvarius Ward.
Looking like Shakira over
here. Wants to play against
Mooney. He prefers Mooney.
Okay. I know he wants to play against his former team. I totally get that.
Man.
He was getting exposed. He clearly didn't look right?
Trent Williams wasn't ready.
Trent Williams, and even Bosa. I love Bosa. He had zero explosion. Yeah. I said this going into the week. I go, you know what? You're probably going to lose this game. Maybe you sit these guys for the next couple of weeks so they can get right. I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hurting.
No, I get it. Look, they're 3.
I know.
I'm
pathetic.
You're a beauty.
I'm
pathetic.
They have a losing record and now have a playoff odd that is below 50% in a conference that doesn't really have any good teams.
That's by the numbers?
Yeah, that's by the numbers. I mean, there's only 5 teams in the entire conference that have a winning record. And three of them are in the East. 2 of them are the Giants and the Seahawks.
Right.
They're playing good ball.
So
you can't knock them.
I'm not. It's not to knock them.
Gino looks good.
It's the point is I think obvious, and you guys have been on it all morning, and we will too. And this is kind of what we want to hear from everybody. Like when you have a roster that has this many players on it, you have to do something. You have to look inward to ask, why aren't we better? It's really actually boils down to just that. And there are a bunch of different answers. And the beauty of yesterday is nobody gets to point at anybody else. You got beat in every single phase.
Special teams.
You got beat in everything.
I cannot believe
coaching, special teams, offense, defense. Yes, just call them teams. They're just teams. They got beat on teams.
After a 55-yard, after a 55-yard return, then you hit a guy 3 yards out of bounds. I just
right after
halftime, hat throwing moments.
Right after
what my uncle does.
Think about that. Right after halftime, you give up a 55-yard kickoff return.
My dad was screaming.
So it's a
plus
cycle.
15.
Plus 15.
Plus 15.
It's a really negative cycle because
Beckham Jr. 30-yard catch in the SEC championship.
Right.
Plus 15.
Plus 15. Yeah. I mean, it triggers everybody to hear Kyle Shanahan come to a podium and say, "Here's what we did wrong, and here's what we did wrong, and here's what we did wrong." He's not wrong.
I know.
But everyone's going to go, if you're just a group that keeps doing everything wrong, then where do we point if the whole group is always doing something wrong? So you're not wrong to point at Kyle. He's not wrong to point at them. Everybody's pointing at each other. What you have is a bunch of good football players who don't add up to a good football team.
That's a good way of putting it.
So, you guys listen to George Kyle. By the way, you are listening to 95.7 KGMZ FM and AC1 San Francisco. Always offer the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And do not forget that you can also watch us every day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game.
Coming up on 1100, by the way, on the tube right now.
Wow.
The tube is jumping.
Are we really?
Oh, yeah.
Huge
in the tube.
Are we? What's up, Tube?
We're big on the tube,
How are you doing out there, Tube?
Big time on the tube today.
Big time on the tube.
Yes. And for the tube, this will not be an excuse machine from 9 to noon. We're ripping people today. That's it.
Oh, wow.
What are you going to start with?
We're going to start with DeMeco Ryans and a defensive philosophy where Patrick Mahomes told you, Mahomes throws the pick, Hufanga with the deflection, Gibson the tip. It's like, okay, Niners D, you're elite. Mahomes goes to the sideline, looks at the tablet, and says, oh my God, they're playing their safeties this close to the line of scrimmage. What do we do, Andy?
Away.
What do we do? Bieniemy, we throw it deep, and they never adjusted. DeMeco Ryans never adjusted. The pass rush never got home.
3rd and 20.
They couldn't tackle. Mecole Hardman turned into Barry Sanders, and you got pummeled. So for me, target number one, it's not Jimmy G. The quarterback is who we thought he was, and that's why you drafted Trey Lance. And the Kyle Shanahan in the second half is what we thought he was. To me, DeMeco Ryans in the defense, that is target number one today.
By the way, I'm glad you just said that's why you drafted Trey Lance. There is one thing that scratches my head, because I think everybody can be mad about whatever they want today, but there's one thing that really makes
platter.
Yeah, it makes me scratch.
Was that you that came up with that?
It's Hawaiian.
It is.
You know.
It is.
You can tell.
It needs some extra poo in there. There's not 2 poos. Is not
Heavy
enough.
on the poo, light on the platter today.
I heard some of your callers. I've heard a lot of this. When we say that the 49ers should be criticized because they didn't move off of Jimmy, I don't understand that.
What do you mean?
They did. They moved off of Jimmy.
They tried.
This is
They tried to move off of
No,
I wish I knew how to
moving
quit
off
you.
of him
Right.
would mean that he's not quarterbacking your team
Exactly.
yesterday.
Not really, because he's the backup, and this is very circumstantial.
Gosh.
Well,
All right. Are we doing this again,
He's
Mark?
packing up. He's packing up his things.
We can't say he's the backup when guys were running to Michael
That's
Silver
the problem.
saying he gives us a better chance to win. And everybody was
was
sitting
the
there
principle.
nationally, everybody at Fox Sports Radio, ESPN, Jimmy Garoppolo gives us a chance to win. Kirk Herbstreit in the preseason.
No, that's
Jimmy
fine.
Garoppolo. I don't care
I'm
why
not-
they're moving off a quarterback who
I'm not
helped you lead to
talking
the
about
NFC
that.
championship. He's not a
Bonte,
backup.
Bonte,
He's
I'm
a starter too.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that.
And
I'm
they didn't
simply-
move off of him. He's quarterback of the team.
I mean,
They failed to move off of him. They didn't move off of him, Mark.
I'm not. They spent 3 first-round draft picks to move off of him, so they moved off of him, and then he got hurt. So I get
Oh my
you
God.
you can hate that Mike Silver report. And
I don't hate it.
And
it just says a lot about the team that Karma's biting him in the ass.
And that's right. I don't disagree with you on that. But I'm not even really coming down your road. I heard a lot of callers say, how could you not move off of Jimmy? They did. Wait, now what did I say that's not true? They didn't spend 3 first-round draft picks to move off of Jimmy? They didn't? Bonte,
He's still
look at me.
quarterback of the team.
I know.
I'm watching him throw 3 flies up in the end zone
If
yesterday.
everything
You
was
want
the
to
same-
leave the context of the whole
Listen,
story.
that is the context,
If
Mark.
everything was
You're
the
saying
same-
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight.
No,
I
they
got no
tried
interest.
to move
I
off
got
of
no
him.
interest. No,
they
did.
didn't move off of him.
No,
They
he
put
got
him on
hurt.
a little killing field to throw by himself, and they still said, you know what? Let's bring him back anyway.
Yeah.
Let's bring him back. They brought him back, Mark. They brought him back.
Yeah, as a backup.
What
I'm not
don't
gonna
you get
argue
about
with
that?
But if
I'm
they
not-
were
quarterback
3 and
of the
4
team.
right now, wait, just one second. If
They
they were
moved
3
off
and
him.
4
I don't
right
know
now,
what you don't get about that. They
Well,
moved off
well,
him.
early
Move
on
off
in the
of him if
season-
he's quarterback against the Chiefs yesterday.
Oh, they should have had Brock Purdy out there because Brock looked good.
I mean,
But if they're 3 and 4 right now, aren't we and Trey Lance is the quarterback? Everything's the same. The way it played out, you put all the statistics and the way that it's looked for Trey Lance under Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy would probably get the nod this week.
I don't know. We would be having a very controversial conversation every week because this is exactly the kind of numbers that we were talking about at that time to say, what if you're this? What if
But
you're
this
that?
is the
Wouldn't
unintended
you go with
consequence
True-
of
with
keeping
Trey?
Jimmy Garoppolo,
Listen,
the
I
tug
was
and pull.
I was
I
at the
know.
front of the line when they brought him
know.
back as the backup to say, don't do this. You're opening yourself up to a real storm. I was the front of that line. I was the only one in this
You
building
are.
who said that. But to now go backward as a group and rip the 49ers because they, quote, didn't move off of Jimmy. They moved heaven and earth to get off of Jimmy. Now, we can all question the decisions and the actions that have happened since then. All fair. But please don't go back a year and a half ago and say they didn't move off of Jimmy. They moved off of Jimmy. 3 first rounds.
No, they didn't.
I mean,
No, they didn't. They started Jimmy last year. Shasky and I were the only ones at the station saying, start Trey Lance
Yeah,
week
they
1
went
in
to the
Detroit.
NFC title
Shasky
game.
and I
They almost
weren't
didn't
going
make
to
the playoffs.
They almost
I
didn't make the
understand that.
playoffs.
Razor's edge.
And they didn't make the...
that's history. That's a
That is
different
history.
story.
So
That's
they
a
didn't
different
move off of
story.
Jimmy.
Well, not
and then
then.
everybody all offseason questioned, man, you sure you want to move on to Trey Lance? Jimmy's still there. Jimmy's still there. They didn't move off of him
No,
because he's still quarterback of his team.
Nobody said
and when
that all
everybody was
offseason.
grinning at the Seattle game, when Jimmy's up there, yeah, it's like riding a bike. And Kyle Juszczyk said, boy, that's 49ers football. And they ran to Michael Silver, said, yeah, Jimmy gives us a better chance to win. And now, after week 7, Well, he is the backup quarterback who got hurt. I don't want to hear that.
But he's not. To me, he's not the reason on this Monday where we're looking at Kansas City.
He's not reason number one.
And by the way, you're going to love this, Bonte, but the Niners are 8-3 when Jimmy Garoppolo throws for 300 or more yards. So that was one of only 3 losses.
They were 8-2 before yesterday.
They're 16-13, including the playoffs since 2020 started, and he has the same amount of touchdowns.
I love swapping stats right now. Because we can all pull the stats that we want to fit our narrative. To me, this is not a Jimmy G show.
It's not.
It's a show about.
To not talk about the quarterback when I just watched maybe the greatest talent in the game.
But why did that talent look so good? And it's because the defense was terrible.
And the coach the other time.
And Andy Reid.
And he is the best.
He is the
Why
best.
did he look the best? Because he's the best.
But he also looked the best because schematically, defensively, you did not do the right things to make him feel uncomfortable.
And it appears you put people in there who were not ready to pull off your scheme. Like it looked like, and again, I sent you the videos. If you guys have been to Dr. David Chow's videos, he's looking at Charvarius Ward getting beat over the top. He's looking at the safety play, and he is looking at the bodies of Trent Williams and Charvarius Ward and going, watch, this is not them. They are hurt. They are not ready to play.
No doubt.
But let's talk 3rd and 20 and a screen pass where you got absolutely
pre-snap penalties.
No doubt.
All that stuff.
So if D'Amico is coaching a scheme and he's still coaching it thinking, I've got Charvarius Ward who can handle this one-on-one, and he can't, then we've got a...
But this goes back to the training staff again.
Yes, we've got to miss...
Who's up on game day?
I don't know who makes these decisions, right? Like, did Charvarius Ward talk his way into the game because he's going against his old team?
I don't know.
Like, somewhere along the line, that didn't work. Whatever decision they came to on those guys,
with you on that.
They weren't ready.
Not only that, and also Andy Reid just undressed everybody in the San
Undressed him.
Francisco
That's great.
Andy Reid, like, I don't want to hear about Shanahan being in the same stratosphere as Andy Reid anymore. Andy Reid has been doing this year in and year out, despite what quarterback he had. Yes, he has Patrick Mahomes. He also had McNabb, Michael Vick, Kevin Cobb. He got all these dudes paid. All these dudes. Andy Reid was just schooling D'Amico Ryans and Kyle Shanahan. And then when you look at the 49ers offense, with Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, when you settle for 3 over and over and over again, you're going to lose football games. Dibs, take away the Carolina game. They scored 26 offensive points in the second half of football game.
26, is that?
26 in 6 games.
Yeah, I was waiting for the total because I heard you before last week when you went through game by game by game by game. And this was a game again. You're up 10-0. And, I mean, you had a 10-0 lead on Kansas City. This week, you had a 10-point lead on Kansas City. I think... Sorry, Joe. And Joe's giving me the dirtiest look.
No,
Did you have fun with your grandpa, though? That's more important.
That's more important.
Did you have fun with grandpa?
So, like, here's a great example. It's
I'm trying to bring him back.
No, it's 3rd and 1, right? And I'm sitting there, and it's early in the game. We're up 10-0.
Yep.
And Andy Reid calls a timeout. He's like, you know what? Come in. We're going to make sure we get the right play here. And then a little boot action. Kelsey's just wide open. Just boom. And Kelsey's running, and Hufanga's trying to make a play. He's jumping over him. And I contrast that with the 3rd and 20. And the Niners defense is scrambling. And it's the second half. And I know we don't want to burn timeouts, but in that situation, I'm like, call the timeout. This is very important. Hold them to just a field goal here. Do not allow them to continue to gash you. They don't call the timeout. It's a slip and slide where guys are just flying all over, and Jerick McKinnon goes for 30.
Players.
And I'm saying to myself,
revenge game.
Think about that. Dante Pettis, Jerick McKinnon.
Seriously.
It's on D'Amico, but it's also on the head coach. Like, it's on D'Amico, but like when you see as a head coach, when you see your team discombobulated, not all timeouts are for clock.
Well, and
Am I wrong?
It's like a safe situation.
No, you're not.
Did you see
it's like
that
a safe
on television?
situation, right? Yesterday, Bob Melvin, why are you sitting on Hader? The safe situations in the 8th inning.
Exactly.
Safe situation can happen in 7th, 8th.
There's a variety of ways to utilize your timeouts. Was my
by the way,
point.
Dibs, River Craycraft is coming to town.
Oh boy. River Craycraft revenge game.
Yes.
Listen, coaching shows up usually in adjustments, and I'm glad, Dibs, you brought up what you brought up with regard to Mahomes seeing something on an iPad on the sidelines. Because if you think about the Chiefs this year, how many times have they lost the first quarter?
All the time.
A lot.
Yes.
How many times do 49ers lose the first quarter?
Never.
Atlanta is the only answer. I looked at it last night. The 49ers are 6-1 in the first quarter. 6-1
Wow.
in the first quarter.
We're the best first quarter team in the league.
So what is it that has every game look like the 49ers are the better team when they start, and then it goes awry quickly? The Chiefs often get punched in the face, and they calmly walk over to the sideline, they pull out an iPad and go, cool, I got it, Now we're going to beat you 40-10 from here.
What do you think it is?
Well, to me,
it's the script.
Yeah, it's the lie.
What do you mean?
Kyle's scripted plays are amazing.
So he's rigid?
When he gets off his script.
But then you can't adjust.
I don't think that he makes the adjustments.
So there's no counterpunching.
Yeah.
So 24 scripted plays. Charles Davis had this on CBS. He scripts the first 24 plays of the first half, then the first 8 after halftime. So half his plays were basically scripted.
Can he script up a stop on a kick
And how
return?
they've been looking in the fourth quarter of games.
Not good.
I mean,
not good.
It's a good thing they ended up with a safety because they were moving at the same damn pace with 10 minutes to go, down 2 scores, and let's run it up the middle.
McCaffrey ran the ball back to the official, and I go, yes, guys, show a little bit of energy.
Well, he's used to being behind.
Right. So, am I tripping? They were walking, and then they're huddling. They ran 2 plays in 140 seconds, or whatever it was, 160, whatever it was, 100 seconds, and I'm like, my God. They're down 2 scores. Do they know? Do they know? Like, the whole stadium's saying...
Frustrating. It's frustrating. Like, I felt everybody yesterday because this is not a game they were technically supposed to win, right? This is a game where everybody knew they could lose.
Just show me something.
They were the underdog. All of these things are true, but the way that unfolded it's just so frustrating when you have a double-digit lead early, when you can't adjust, when the penalties are constant, when seemingly the awareness of the room is just not there. That was the only way that a loss to the Chiefs could end up being incredibly frustrating, but
Go look at the Chiefs' second half touchdown drives. All 4, the first 4.
Hot knife through butter. Hot knife through butter.
It took them like less than 12 minutes to score 4 touchdowns.
Minute 32.
Yep.
What?
4:10.
What?
3:33. 2:44.
That's one field goal drive. Am I wrong?
It took the Niners 8 minutes to go 80 yards to get to Atlanta and not put up any points.
Right.
They scored 4 touchdowns in less than 12 minutes.
Did that all add up to 10 minutes?
See, $1.32. That's 5:42. That's 9:15. No, that's 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Okay.
12 minutes.
That's 4 first downs.
I'll take 4 touchdowns in a game.
And here's the
I'll take them in a game, let alone 12 minutes.
I'm watching Christian McCaffrey, and it's so unfair because he just got here, and I'm like, oh my God, I need him on the field more. Like he's like the only dude with juice.
He will be. He will be.
I know, but it's
the crazy thing is
great.
I totally think they're gonna smash the Rams this week. I really do.
I would be careful.
I really do. No, I do.
Be careful.
I do.
I would be careful with that one.
Well,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
No, but a must-win against the Rams is just what the 49ers do. That's
Niners
what they do. Yeah,
5.5. Yeah,
their offensive line is in shambles. However, the Niners have a secondary problem now. And if Drake Greenlaw doesn't play, that means you have a linebacker situation as well.
No, there's
Cooper
Kupp. Oh my gosh,
is a problem.
Tackle.
Air ball.
Oh.
I mean, jeez Louise.
To me, I'm more concerned going into the Ram game, and I know we'll get into the Rams. It's Rams week, by the way, guys.
Thanks,
I'm more
Ronnie.
concerned about the defense than I am the offense.
That's what I'm saying.
So the Niners give up a touchdown to start the third quarter, which, by the way, thank you, Juwan Jennings. What in God's name are you doing?
Was it as bad as I thought it was?
Beyond the apron, Joe.
It was so bad.
He was beyond the apron. And you know I love the refs, but I actually pulled out my yellow hanky that I have at home, and I threw it at the TV.
How many penalties yesterday? On the real, how many were picked up? It felt like 30.
Yeah. So the Niners are the 5th worst team when it comes to penalties. They average 7 penalties per game. Denver's the worst team in the league. And you see Denver's record. They got called for 10 penalties yesterday officially. I felt like there was at least another 10 that were picked up.
I think 4 or 5 is the actual number.
4 or 5?
Back-to-back Bosa neutral zones. The first one was an offsetting penalty.
Was it his hand or his helmet?
It was his hand.
They didn't show the replay.
Twice in a row. And that's where, I would love to hear his quote.
I found myself explaining the neutral zone to teenagers yesterday during the game. My son had his boys, and they're like, what's that?
How does an All-Pro do that?
I mean... Well, he didn't. I don't know. I mean, you could see how flummoxed he was there on the second one. He's looking at the ref. He's like, me? What do you like?
And then they had illegal formation on another
that's
play?
That's a case where you got to do a check with me. When you put your hand in the dirt, you look over at the side judge and you give him the look like, am I good?
It's like the wide receivers looking at the ref.
Exactly. So, anyway, I mean, the Chiefs get that short field touchdown. Niners answer with the field goal, 21-16. Okay.
Still a game.
Chiefs go 12 plays, 85 yards. In 4 minutes. You want to talk about the Gash? Shout out Sam Gash. And that's the ball game.
Was that the 3rd and 12 play where they threw it deep? Was that same drive? Or was that another drive?
Let's see, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 20. They converted.
That was the 3rd and 20 play. Okay. Because I know they on consecutive drives, it was 3rd and 20 screen check, which to me, that's, again, below the timeout. Guys, You
shouldn't have to burn a timeout on a 3rd and 20.
They were scrambling. I agree. Yeah. But their personnel was like running on and off the field. It was just. I'm
just laughing because Dibs, you're breaking down the touchdowns, right? And the time of possession for the Kansas City Chiefs. When they scored that touchdown out of halftime, 21-13.
It was like Niners a 4-play drive.
Niners went 11 plays. 52 yards and burned up 5:47 off the clock.
But that's what the Niners do.
They got three.
But that's what they do.
Cut it to 5.
Right.
And then the Chiefs go 6 yards, 18, 3, 5, 15, 10-yard penalty. Then incomplete, 3rd and 20. All right. Hold them to 3. We still have a ball game. Boop.
It's just
little check down to Jerick McKinnon.
Right before halftime, missed field goal when Harrison Butker missed the field goal. The Chiefs took the ball after Garoppolo threw the interception at the goal line. They went 8 plays, 73 yards at a minute 22.
I think the gut punch, the ultimate gut punch for me for yesterday, because there's a bunch of them. But the one that really stings, I think, 49er fans today is because Jimmy Garoppolo making mistakes is not new to us.
It's Trey not getting any development.
No. The gut punch is we all thought, and I'm not off of this 100% yet, but we all thought even when stuff goes wrong, the team has the best defense in football. And now we thought it was the best. Cowboys and Niners were on an island.
Yeah.
Right.
And now we walk out going, do we? Were we just playing bad offenses the whole time?
That's where I'm kind of leaning.
Or Ward hurt, Greenlaw hurt, blah, blah, blah. Are they actually still not? And Mosley, unfortunately, is gone.
That's a big blow.
Will they get better?
And I feel like the Mosley one really showed up yesterday.
Yes. Yep.
And I wonder if it's going to show up if there's no Ward, if there's no Mosley, then Cooper Kupp is terrifying.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? I mean,
Jason Verrett?
That's you walk
it sounds
away.
like he had a setback.
Yeah.
You walk away.
You got shut down.
Yeah.
You got shut down.
Diablo Lenore, we like to get. He's like 1,000 yards off of Kelsey. I don't even know what he's supposed to do. And then Kelsey catches it and just chalk line. He just ran right through
Those
him.
guys are solid, but they're not special.
They're not as good as Mosley.
They're not special. Mosley and Ward are special. And so you thought you were going to be in every game.
Yeah.
I never thought that 49ers was going to be getting beat by 3 touchdowns against anybody.
They gave up the most points that they've given up at home since Singletary.
2009.
They've been beat by 35 points now if you add the last 2 weeks in a row. I didn't think that was going to be happening this year.
The Chiefs' second half drives, touchdown. And you used the word overrated, I think, this morning, Bonte. And I was stuck in traffic in the Bay Bridge. Right. I'm like, you can't go. And I was like, damn, Atlanta gashed them, but they were hurt.
But they were hurt.
Well, and now they got everyone back for the most part. Hufanga, the blue tent, by the way, that thing is, you got to take a number to get in the blue tent.
Another one.
Just keep the tent up. You know how they bring the tent down, they put it back up. Just keep it up.
Well, I thought Hufanga got hurt seriously when he collided with Kelsey and went straight to the ground. I said, oh, God.
The knee went straight to the helmet.
I can't believe it.
They called it a shoulder.
Yeah, they called it a shoulder.
They called it a shoulder.
They called Tua a back too.
Remember when
Tua had a back injury?
Not bad.
Kelsey in person is gigantic.
Oh, he's monster.
He is huge.
Have you not been to the Tahoe golf tournament when he's out there whacking? Oh my God, it's just
he's huge.
He is the most monstrous human being. Thank you.
Anyway. Travis and I had White Russians.
Y'all get tickets. Banks out here.
Listen,
playing on the green.
I tried to take a page out of Willard's book and be positive today. It's like, hey, it's always been Operation 4-4. Just get the 4-4 by the bye week. But I didn't think they'd be 3-4 going into the Rams game.
If that's positive, Bonte, I don't want to see you in a bad mood.
Okay, can I ask a question? What is it with the play? They have too many good players. This is what I don't understand.
Wow.
What do you make of that?
Good players. Is it the offensive line is just sabotaging everything? Why are they not scoring more points?
Hold on, Shasky.
Honestly,
I want to know what they think of Kittle saying what he's saying the last 2 weeks. The captain of the team. Last week it was every position group didn't give 100%.
Right.
All right. Who's he talking about? This week it was got to find a way to get the playmakers the ball in his head. Is that on the quarterback? Is that the head coach? Now you said the same thing. We're too good to score 23 points.
They're obviously correct. We all feel the same way. It was an odd thing to come from Kittle when he statistically, I think, had his best game of the year. He did get the ball yesterday.
And got downfield.
Got a touchdown, got the thing downfield. His fantasy owners were like, hey, finally. Yeah, there's George Kittle. So, but they're not wrong, but that's a great question for how is this not possible? And a lot of people will put it on Jimmy, a lot of people will put it on Kyle. It doesn't matter. There's too many of them, and so now we're going to get triggered by the phrase on paper because the Niners are going to win the on paper Super Bowl, but the whole thing's not played on paper. This roster, it was already loaded. and then they added Christian McCaffrey. If you can't get to the playoffs in the NFC,
that's where I'm
with
at.
this roster.
If they don't get to the playoffs,
but do you remember what the Harbaugh thing was?
Let me say
do you remember what the Harbaugh thing was? They had players, but they were underperforming. Remember, that's kind of what it was.
Better offensive line under Harbaugh. This offensive line is not very good.
I'm talking about before he was hired.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying. Like, we were like, and we didn't know about the quarterback or whatever. But like that was part of the thing. They're clearly underperforming.
Okay.
I feel like this is an even more talented offense.
So you just said something.
Should be,
right?
on
you
paper.
just said something.
Am I tripping?
If they don't make the playoffs this year in the NFC, I think Jed York seriously has to consider moving off from Kyle Shanahan if he can't get this team to the playoffs.
No chance. No chance.
Yeah,
without
If
his
you can't
quarterback.
get this team to the playoffs in this conference,
You can't say that the
tied to
quarterback's
Trey.
a bum and hold Shanahan accountable at that level. He gets another year guaranteed. It's not a conversation.
He's going to get Trey. He
gets a year with Trey.
I get
He
where your
deserves
emotion
what I'm
is.
saying.
I get where your emotion is, but Kyle's going to get Trey. They're tied. Kyle's going to get Trey.
I'm sorry.
Until they know about Trey, Kyle's not going
No
anywhere.
doubt. No
He's
doubt.
not going anywhere.
I get the emotion. Mark's right. The emotion is real, but the offensive line right now is not very. Kansas City's defense is not great, and they were running through this O-line.
Isn't that on Kyle Shanahan? They had all offseason to draft to fix the offensive line. We knew it was going to be a week. They let Laken Tomlinson walk. All right? Or you want to let Laken go?
That's a lot of pressure on Trey.
Him.
Oh, my God.
Alex Mack retired in July. Didn't they have an idea that he was going to retire? They did not address the center position. They brought back Mike McGlinchey, the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, and the way it was paraded around the NFL, Jimmy gives them a better chance to win after week 2. You can't get this team to the playoffs
So
with this defense and these playmakers.
You're on the actual
with CMC?
issue. You're on the issue. Here's the thing. I've
never said that about Shanahan. Hold on, real quick.
There's calls of Bonte Cone here on the
yeah, that's
YouTube.
fine. That's fine. You can call me Bonte Cone all you want. I've never said the Niners should have fired Shanahan until today, because you said if they don't make the playoffs in this conference, something's got to give. Something's got to give. How many excuses are we going to give the head coach? That'll be year 6 and 4 years not making the playoffs, especially last year when you barely made the playoffs. Could have been 5 out of 6.
Eyeballs will be.
I'm not saying fire Shanahan. The conversation has to be had.
Well, eyeballs
has
will
to
be.
had.
Yeah, eyes and ears will be in a different spot next year if this team were to miss the playoffs. But Kyle's going to get Trey. Kyle's going to get Trey.
I agree with you.
They're going to do whatever they do together. They're going to do it together.
After watching Trey for 4 games under Shanahan, it does nothing for me.
That doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, that can be fine.
They owe it to Kyle because of what they traded.
Yeah,
like, if this was a 2nd round pick, or even if they had taken him, let's say 21st overall, the fact that you moved this much and you've invested too much to not see it for a year. I'm with Mark.
We saw it for 5 quarters. What'd you think in 5 quarters?
It's not enough. It's not enough to
you
make.
You saw it for 2 games last year.
I didn't love
What'd
it, but
you
it
think?
wasn't enough to make a full scope. I think the sample size is way too small.
It's also not even really an opinion as much as it is just the way it is. Like that's the way it works. Kyle's going to get Trey.
Yeah.
They're going to get each other, and they're going to do whatever they do together, and it's either going to work or it's not going to work, and then you figure it out.
Eddie DeBartolo would. Oh boy. Oh man.
He didn't have to worry about it.
He didn't have to
Joe
worry about it. He had Joe Montana and Steve Young. He didn't. He did.
Must have been nice.
If they don't make the playoffs in this
Montana,
conference,
by the way, did you guys see Montana yesterday?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to see everyone out there.
He got the biggest pop. In my eyes, second biggest pop was Harbaugh. I could have been wrong. Maybe Ronnie was close. I thought Harbaugh, just showing him on the screen.
Was Joe there for the Niners or the Chiefs? I couldn't tell.
He came out for the Legends and then stood on the Chiefs side.
Sorry.
Yeah, in a sketch.
All right, that's it for us. Willard and Dibs will take you up until high noon.